Let me start with a conversation that happens far more often than people admit. Someone sits across from me and says, I know networking is important, but I don't know if I'm doing it right. And when I ask them what they have tried, the answer sounds very familiar. They have sent LinkedIn connection requests to people they barely know. They have attended a few events where they collected business cards but never followed up. They have watched videos telling them to build relationships without anyone explaining what that actually means. And I want to be very clear with you. These are not people who are lazy or antisocial or bad at networking. They are confused because almost all networking advice skips the most important part, how careers actually move in the real world. Now, before I get into examples like I always do, let me share with you some data. See, research from Harvard Business Review shows that professionals with similar skills and similar performance often experience very different career outcomes. Then we look at LinkedIn's report, and LinkedIn's report also tells you a similar story. The difference is not effort, it is access. Access to information, access to projects, access to decision makers who can take your career forward. In fact, LinkedIn's mobility data shows that internal moves, referrals, and role transitions happen far more often through existing professional relationships than through job applications. And that is very interesting. So, access matters. But here's the part most people miss. Networking does not work the same way at every stage of a career. If you treat it like a generic activity, you will waste your time. If you treat it like a system, it will compound. So the real question we need to answer is this: how do you build a strong professional network without doing unnecessary work, forced conversations, or reputation damage? At Career Earth, we use three ideas: the build framework, the network flywheel, and career stage rules. I'll tell you about each one of them with examples so that you can relate to it and use it in your real world. So let me tell you about Riya. She's an early career professional who came to us for advice. She works in Bangalore and for a very large consulting firm. She's only 24 years old. She's very hardworking, she's disciplined, people like her in the organization. But her problem sounded very familiar to us. She told us that she's doing everything right. She's attending events, talking to senior people on LinkedIn, asking them for advice, but she still feels that she is not seen, she's invisible. So we looked at everything closely with her and we found that the issue was the structure that she was using. It wasn't her effort. She was trying hard, but it was not working out. Because Ria believed that networking meant talking to senior people. But at her early career stage, that approach is inefficient. And this is also very closely lining up with the data we have seen. Most early career professionals are discovered through internal evaluations, referrals, and managerial recommendations. So the first thing we explained to her was the career stage rule for early career. Early in your career, your network should help you learn, grow, and move together, not chase senior level visibility. Unless you have the right skills, it's very hard for senior level people to just pull you out of one role and put you into another senior role. We introduced her to the build framework in very practical terms. We asked Ria to focus first on building proof. Show me that you have the capability to deliver. Not just potential, but proof. Next, we helped her understand who actually saw her work closely. Then we worked on visibility, but in a controlled way. There is no need to race to the very top of the chart to show how well you are doing. Concrete outcomes shared with the right people. As momentum built, she began to leverage trust. Warm introductions replaced cold outreach. Finally, we encouraged her to deepen trust through repetition, working with the same people across multiple projects so that people remember and start to like you and think about you even when you are not in front of them. This is where the network flywheel started working. Once Ria focused on strong work with the same group of people, over time, her name began to come up in conversations without her being present. Exactly the effect that we wanted it to have. In 18 months, two of her peers moved to a new team. They pulled Ria into it. Another recommended her for a role she had never applied for. See, networking didn't suddenly start working. So people have this idea that networking will suddenly start working one day. It doesn't. It started to compound over time. So it takes time to build a good network which will actually work for you. Next, we will talk about a mid-career professional like Arjun. Let me tell you about our interesting discussion recently with Arjun, who has about 12 years of work experience and has an MBA, and he's about 36 years old. And on paper, everything is looking fine. He has been a senior manager for 3 years, but promotions keep getting delayed. When he approaches his managers, they often say very vague feedback. You are doing well, just keep doing. Sounds familiar? Has it happened to you as well? Arjun believed he needed more mentors, but the truth was there was a problem with the way he perceived the issue. You see, at mid career level, when you're looking for a promotion, leaders promote people they are willing to stand behind publicly. And here they were not willing to stand behind publicly. And so he was not getting promoted. So when we diagnosed Arjun's situation, we explained a different career stage rule. Mid career stall not because of lack of skill, but because of lack of visible backing. We looked at his network through the network flywheel that we have at Career Earth. He had trust, but it was private. We applied the build framework differently. Arjun already had proof. What he lacked was visible contribution in high stakes context. We helped him align with projects senior leaders were personally accountable for. As he delivered, something subtle changed. Senior leaders started mentioning him in discussions. Within a year, Arjun was offered a role that previously felt out of reach. Mid career networking is not about collecting relationships, it's about converting proven ability into visible endorsement. And unless you do that, that promotion you are looking for is not coming through. Let me tell you about Meera, who's a senior person and in a frame of transition. Recently, we had a very senior person come to Career Earth. Her name was Meera, she's 43 years old with nearly 2 decades of leadership experience, exploring consulting and advisory work. She wasn't looking for a job, she wanted options. At this stage, the career stage rule changes again. See, for senior role hiring, it is dominated by referrals. Opportunities are rarely posted. They emerge through trust and relevance. We applied the same 3 ideas that we've been telling you about. The network flywheel now depended on long-term credibility. Using build, proof meant judgment and pattern recognition, not execution. Meera didn't network more, she networked deliberately. Within a year, advisory opportunities started coming to her through conversations, not applications. Now step back and notice something important. The same 3 ideas were used in all the 3 cases. The only thing that changed was execution. Same framework, different career stages. Networking is not about personality or effort. It's about applying the right structure at the right career stage. If networking feels exhausting or pointless, the problem isn't you, it's the strategy. Once you align build, the network flywheel, and career stage rules, networking stops feeling fake. It starts making sense, and that's what Career Earth is built to do. If this helped you think more clearly, share it with someone who feels stuck despite doing everything right. And tell me where you are in your career right now by commenting. That's where the real work begins. And I look forward to seeing you at Career Earth. अगर क्लैरिटी होगा तो ग्रोथ होगा तो करियर होगा ये हमारा आपसे वादा है सी यू सून